Want to Be an Assessor?
Hello, welcome to So You Want to Be an Assessor. I am one of the co-hosts, Mei Beth Shepherd.
And I'm your other co-host, Kaitlyn Reeder. How you been?
Doing okay. I haven't traveled except to a conference, and so I'm starting to relax.
That's kind of nice. I know travel's been really light this summer, at least for me, which is nice because that's usually when I'm the busiest. At least that's how it's felt the last 3 years.
Yeah. I don't know what we've done, but this year has not felt as busy. So, for good news, bad news. That's because I know that the travel is a hard part of being an assessor. It just wears on you.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's so tough. I had a call with my friend actually yesterday, and I have taken her on a trip once because I had the companion pass for Southwest. So for a bachelorette party, I switched her to be my companion so she could come with me and it would be easier. She's a teacher. I was like, girl, you ain't coming any other way. So like, just join me.
Yeah.
So she was trying to convince me to be at the airport like 3 hours early. And so I lied about the time so that we would be there not 3 hours early. And it was fine. Nothing happened.
It was fine. It was fine. Yeah. Mike is planning us to go tomorrow, and he's traveling with someone who doesn't have pre-check and clear and all of this stuff that we, priority on the tickets and so on and so forth. And so he's like, okay, I need to add at least 30 minutes to our typical get there to the airport an hour before the flight takes off, which is for Southwest 30 minutes before loading. Mm-hmm. So that gives you 30 minutes to get through security and all that sort of stuff. But people that don't travel, they listen to the airlines that say, be here 2 to 3 hours before your flight is going to take off.
Which is totally fine if you're in a place like LAX, which is huge and sprawling, and you may need to take a shuttle or a train to another terminal.
Yeah.
But for an airport, you can walk.
Yeah. We discovered in Frankfurt Airport, I think. Yeah, when we were coming back, that a 2-hour layover was not long enough. So there are times when you need that much time, but and Austin's not a itty bitty airport. It has 25, 30 terminals now, or gates, not terminals. It's got 2 terminals, and I've never even been to one of them. The new South Terminal, have you been?
I have not flown out of it personally, but I have dropped off a friend who was flying Frontier, and that is out of that terminal. It mostly looks like a glorified hangar.
What? Glorified hangars are good too.
It has like a security line and a taco truck.
I love how the trucks are becoming. Is that just here in Austin? They're becoming normal. Like at every gas station, there's a taco truck or a food truck. I guess you have to say food truck nowadays.
Yeah, that's true, because they do all sorts of stuff. I saw one in actually downtown Austin that did nothing but grilled cheese, and like 5 or 10 varieties of grilled cheese. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. There have been some cool specialty food trucks. So anyway, but we're kind of off the.
Sorry, we've gotten off
being an assessor. Except that we try all kinds of different foods and things.
That's true.
I've done that because we travel.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I thought an interesting topic for today could be about kind of the growth that we see in environmental labs, and kind of for labs that are listening, if you are growing, what those steps kind of look like as far as if you need to change a facility, implement a new instrument, what those processes look like.
Oh, that is a great topic.
Because it's something that we run into, and we have minor guidance on some things and major guidance on other things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some of it, and it's all guidance. It's all just our opinions. Um, our opinions are supported by. We've been in a lot of laboratories and have seen a lot of laboratories and watched them succeed and fail at implementing new stuff or growing or moving labs and all that sort of thing. I think that to me, it's amusing when a laboratory calls us and says, okay, I need to schedule an assessment because we're going to move labs in 2 months. And I'm like, great, where you at? We have bought the property. I am not clearing my calendar in 2 months for that. It just isn't going to happen. I don't care. Even if you have the building, 2 months is a very aggressive move. Now, if all you're moving is wet chemistry tests, where you just pick them up off the bench and go, you don't even have to plug them in, really. I suppose pH meters are plugged in. But anyway, it's not, California calls it sophisticated equipment. So, if it's the easy stuff, then 2 months is still a push.
Yes, I agree. But if you have a GC, don't even think about it.
Well, or an ICP. The whole silly setup for an ICP, you have to go over the whole thing again. You have to do all the interferences and all of that stuff. ICPs are not set up in a day. The GCs are not set up in a day. You have to do new MDLs. You have to do new IDOCs. You have to. It's just not something that you could just, pick up the instrument, put it down someplace else, and run it. You have to add all the stuff. Implementing the limbs. Good on you. That's great. Do your homework beforehand. Find out what the limbs systems can do, and if that's what you need. If all you need is a glorified spreadsheet, then use a glorified spreadsheet. There is no requirement that limbs systems be used by any laboratory, right? So know what you need. Don't let the salesman talk you into a fantastic, amazing limb system that costs $2 million when you're going from writing down every sample in a sample login book. That probably is more than you need to start off, or move directly from paper to an electronic limbs that does everything, because that's really hard.
Yes, that is really hard. I commend anyone who does it, but it is not easy.
Well, anytime putting a limb system in is not easy. Moving a laboratory is not easy. You have to now it's great getting a new lab and planning it and knowing what tests you're doing and how much bench space you want or need, and if you're expanding, your lab is growing, that's wonderful. And yeah, it's really cool and fun to plan a new laboratory, but I mean, one lab that has just recently moved, planned everything, and then the city people or whatever got hold of the plans and said, we'll just put these metal faucets, etc., in the metals laboratory. That's not going to be a problem. And so they,
Oh
you know,
no!
that wasn't what it was on the plans, but somebody in purchasing or whatever said, but we'll just use metal faucets. We'll put them everywhere, which is fine everywhere else, but not in the metals room. And you know, the hoods and everything. It's like, no, we want metal free. We don't want
Oh
to add
no!
our own metals to our samples. And you know, the people that are building it don't know. And so, but they think, oh, why did these people think they want plastic spigots or whatever? That's silly. It's like, no, really, that's a good reason. And so watching all that, being aware of all that is the things that, as far as we as assessors are concerned, this is the section of T&I that is on improvement, and it talks about you need to have an action plan for putting any improvements in place. And so that's where we tend to run across these particular things. Now, I've also, as an assessor, been into a few labs, especially if they are a new lab or coming into accreditation and they've never been accredited before. And for them, sometimes it's like, what is a quality system? How do I write a quality manual? What does it need to include?
Tell us. We'll tell you for a fee.
Yeah. We'll suggest that you read the standard. It says your quality manual must include or reference this, and it's lists. Anyway, so there are labs that there are different levels of growth and moving. I mean, when we go into brand new labs, then unless they come from another lab and have built and have run a T&I lab, 17025 lab before, then we'll be starting with the how to have a quality system. What does that mean? What does that do? But then so Michael and I have been assessing some laboratories or consulting with laboratories. I guess these are more that we've been consulting with for years. And now when we go in, you know, originally it was, okay, you need a quality manual. Okay, now you need to write it. Now you need to do what it says. And now, you know, baby steps, growing a little bit at a time. But now we go in and we have to work much harder in labs that have been implementing these things for a lot of years. You know, and one lab, we laugh about it because the only thing I could find wrong with their quality manual was that there was one sentence in the entire quality manual that was in the wrong font. And so,
What a catch!
what a catch. It's a skill. Really? You're going to write me a finding? No, it wasn't a finding. It was a comment. But it was like everything else was fine.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of crazy to think that. So the level of implementation of systems, quality systems, and laboratory systems and such, labs get better over time, and I have loved seeing laboratories that we have been in for multiple years under, whether we are coming in to assess them or whether we are coming in to consult with them and not do their official assessment. I love seeing labs get better, and they come to us and say, what about this? do I need to worry about this? Or, is the certificate of analysis okay if I just store it in a binder over here, or if I scan it and put it on the file? Do I need to attach it to limbs? Do I need to, and it's like, again, what's your system? Yes, you want the certificate of analysis. Where and how you keep it, I don't much care. But yeah. What about you?
My favorite part of this job is being able to come back and, not year after year, but every couple of years, and see the growth and the changes. And I mean, more often than not, it's for the better. On the rare occasion, it's for the worse. But being able to kind of write that track as we see it is also really rewarding.
Yes. Well, and with TNI as a program does not require that laboratories fix the problems that are found. It doesn't. It's just not part of the requirements. And some of the accreditation bodies are now requiring it for repeats. They have basically written into their own rules that if a laboratory has a finding that is a repetitive finding, it was found last time they had an assessment and it wasn't fixed, because that's one of the things we have to do is double check the findings from the last time to make sure that they were fixed. If it's not fixed, or if it's rebroken, if it was fixed and then sometime in the last 2 years it fell apart again, then it becomes a repeat. And so some of the accreditation bodies, ABs, are saying, okay, in that case, I want you to prove that you fixed it. Instead of saying, send me a corrective action plan, we're all good. And so a few times that's happening, but otherwise TNI doesn't require fixes, which I think is kind of silly. It's like, why go to all this trouble?
That's so strange.
Yeah. When we first started doing some of the states that were moving from fully state assessed to third party assessors, there were many times, unfortunately, that it was a 3-peat, 4-peat, 5-peat. That's 10 years, because assessments are only every other year. And we'd call and we'd say, what up? And they'd say, yeah, that lab is like that. And I'm like, going, yeah, do you still want that lab in the program? No. And so I think it's been a good thing to have third-party assessors come in. Number one, because we could compare across states or across accreditation bodies and try and get some consistency. Not that we're perfect, but
we try.
I know. You know what? We should probably just have a whole conversation on consistency among assessors or whatever.
That's a good idea. I'll make a note and we can talk about that maybe next episode.
That's right. And or if people are watching, they can put ideas for topics.
If you have questions you want to ask, please drop them in the doobly-doo down below.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, consistency amongst assessors, but also extra eyes or somebody else coming in and going, 5-peat? If they can't fix it in 10 years, I don't care what it is. They're just being stubborn. They just don't want to fix it. And if it's a requirement and you expect them to follow it, then you should have a way to tell them you either follow it or you're out of the program. And so that has gotten better. I have now seen and heard of labs that have been denied accreditation, whether it was just a renewal or brand new. They just weren't ready yet. Whereas before it was very rare, very, very, very rare for laboratories to be denied accreditation. And so I think it's made the program better because now you get rid of the labs that aren't so fantastic. So
True.
we are a little over 20 minutes. We kind of try and keep it to 20 so that we don't overload anybody.
Yeah.
How about we stop here?
Okay.
We can come back again or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, we haven't even touched on how to add a new test method versus a new analyte, which I would love to cover at some point as well. So come back where we cover all of those questions. If you have any questions you would like us to kind of touch on or topics you'd like us to expand on, please leave them in the comments below. As always, like and subscribe. It helps our podcast. It helps us get to you guys and reach our niche audience slightly better. If you would like, you can follow us on Facebook. I'm not sure if it's updated. If you would like, you can follow Mei Beth and I on Facebook. Not that we post much either, but
we're learning. We're getting there. We're doing more than we have in the past. So
that's true. Although I will say Instagram's kind of gotten me this. I resisted having an Instagram for so long, but now that I have one, I kind of love it.
Do you? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have to talk about whether this should be on Instagram. Probably. I don't know. Is that a podcasting platform?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of just follow Taylor Swift. She seems to be the queen of podcasts now.
What? I don't even follow Taylor Swift. But then again, my daughter, I think she's forbidden me to install Instagram and Twitter. She's like, no, you're going to have too many questions for me. I don't want you to go there.
That's very fair. Well, anyway, we'll see y'all next time.
Yes. Bye. Thanks.